Kitties, I'm Kirei.
I'm Meru.
And we have no Panda Ponycat or Alice tonight.
No.
They left us alone. Those suckers. We're gonna blow up the podcast. It's cool. I think that's just our running theme now since we got back from our little summer break. It's just...
Yeah, we're just murder, explosions, death.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's cool.
So tonight we decided, since the girls aren't here, we didn't want to do anything like super cool like murder. So instead, we're going to talk about how to get started in streaming. Both me and Meru have done it. The other girls have also done it, but we figured this will be kind of an easy topic for the two of us to cover, and not something they're going to be like, why did they do that without us? So
yeah, I hope not.
Right.
We'll find out.
Mind you, the only reason we're doing this is because I failed and I slept through our recording session on Monday. So
That's fine.
It's fine.
We were going to record last night and then I fell asleep. So, you know.
That did happen. We're
I woke up
nailing
at like
it.
9 o'clock. I was like, whoops.
All
Oops,
of the
amazing.
nailing it.
Yeah.
So how did you get into streaming? Like what kind of made you want to start doing that?
What's weird is we both stream on Mixer, which used to be Beam,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure a lot of people would know. If you know what Mixer is, you probably know that used to be Beam. And I actually started off on the website as a mod because I couldn't stream back when it came about.
Oh, right.
I could not stream. I didn't have a computer that could stream, so I modded for you, and then I modded for a few other people, and that's how I got started on just kind of getting exposed to like the site and the whole streaming thing. Because I'd never really had watched Twitch much before.
Yeah,
or
I
anything
didn't.
like that.
I watched Twitch occasionally before I went over to Beam, but yeah, it was really when I had been doing YouTube for a while, and then I saw that Beam had popped up, and everybody was like moving to Beam, and I was like, well, let's go try out the beta. What the heck? And I ended up in the closed beta, and it was super cool. So
Yeah, like I've watched, I'd never really watched anybody stream on any platform. I wasn't something I watched YouTube a lot.
yeah.
And then so I kind of got started on Beam as mod, and I was like, man, I really want to do this. This looks like a lot of fun. Because I was doing YouTube at the time. But it takes so much time to really do YouTube. I feel like it takes more time, maybe. Independent.
I think it probably takes more to set up to stream, but I think it's easier on the back end because you don't have to do all the editing.
Right. Yeah,
unless
like
you're pushing it to like YouTube.
Yeah, unless you then want to put your VODs up, which I don't do right now, just because uploading would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can once you get it all set up the way you want it, you can kind of just get into it. You can just kind of turn on your computer to start doing your thing. So I was like, man, I really wanted to do that. So eventually, when I finally got a computer that could stream, which took a very long time, like a year and a half down the road, probably.
Oh yeah, it really was.
It's been a long time. I just started, and I still can't stream at the highest quality because of my internet, but it's just so much fun. It's so much fun just to kind of get in there, and I like it more than YouTube because you can interact with your watchers live. I think that's what's fun. You can sit there, play a game, people watch you, and they can talk to you while you're doing it. So it's like you get to hang out with the people that are watching your content.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key to what makes streaming more fun for some people is that, you get that interplay between them like in real time. So you could do something dumb and then everybody's laughing at you and you're like, oh my god, why'd I do that on stream? But then it's kind of fun because everybody makes a joke out of it, and then it typically becomes like an inside joke within your community of followers.
Yes. Oftentimes it becomes a quote when you say something really stupid.
Yes, it does. And those live in infamy.
They do. Mine are like 90% me talking about stabbing things. So, yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine.
For the longest time, mine were all about hiding in lockers. Like, oh, Kirai's gonna hide in a locker. Like, yeah, that's just where I live now because I'm terrified of the alien wandering up and down the hallways. And I'd rather be in the locker than out there.
The locker is warm. The locker protects me.
It does until he rips the locker door off and eats your face. And then it's no longer a safe space.
Well, it only works for so long. Until he's like, all right, I know you're in there. Let's quit playing this game.
So as funny as it is for me to push those VODs up to YouTube, which I've done with my Alien series in particular, it's really definitely more fun to be there live, because then, right, the stream and the chat is like they all start feeding off each other. Like one person will make a joke at you, and then everybody else starts lumping in on that joke, and then it becomes this thing. People were creating accounts during one of my streams to say stuff like, the aliens are hungry, and then there was another one that was like, just the aliens, and they created all kinds of fake accounts to talk to me, just to scare me in the middle of the game, and
that was hilarious.
it was like adding to the whole atmosphere of the thing, and that's kind of what makes streaming such a cool different thing from YouTube, where YouTube you have to plan it out very carefully, or you just wing it, and whatever you get, which I've done numerous times. But then there's all that editing and kind of setup to it, and the cutting things out, and the piecing things together, and adding music or speeding stuff up, or creating montages. Like there's just so much more work that goes into, I think, into the whole YouTube recording process than it does to just stream. Like you can just come home, and if you have most of your stuff all set up, then you can just jump on and just go and just be like, here's my content, whatever it looks like. It could be terrible, but we're doing it.
But we're doing it live.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too, is people, and with YouTube, it's like if you record for a long period of time, you often have to chop it up into 20 to 30 minute bits, because people won't usually sit and watch hour, 2 hour long YouTube video, but they will come to a 2-3 hour stream.
Oh my god.
Because they can interact with you.
That one time that we start streaming at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we went until 7, no, between 4 and 6 in the morning. It was me, you, and PPK.
Yes.
I mean, that was insane. And we had a couple people that stayed for the entire stream, and it was overnight, and it was insane.
Yes.
Pure craziness.
Shout out Garacus.
Yes.
Was the one that made it almost the entire time, I think.
Yep.
Why, I don't know.
I don't know either. That was such a crazy stream.
Oh goodness.
So
that was again before her or I were streaming on our own accounts. We were all streaming on yours.
Oh yeah, we were streaming from my computer at my house because we had a big slumber party.
Taking turns, yeah.
Taking turns playing creepy games, and then the other two sitting in the back and watching it and screaming. So
yes,
yeah, we were good at that. We're good at just increasing the intensity level.
Yes.
So what have you found has been some of the hardest parts of getting into streaming, though? I mean, there's graphics, and there's, your social media accounts, and then there's the, the streaming account itself, and you have to set up all that stuff, and then, making sure, all your settings on your streaming equipment is right, and the microphone, and the video recording, and, I mean, there's just so many layers to it. What do you find is the most difficult part of all of it?
It takes a while to get into it. That's the thing. And it took me forever to figure out. I guess the hardest thing is to keep finding the things to make it innovative, to make it different.
Yeah.
By adding sounds or changing up your overlay every now and then, or adding new commands just to make things more interactive in your stream. Well, now with Mixer, they have the whole interactive, the soundboard, and where people can push buttons to make things in your game happen. I don't know how to do any of that. I'm actually learning that stuff right now.
Yeah,
it's so confusing. I'm how do I do buttons? I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anywhere near any of that. All of that is just complete chaos to me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything is, it's not too hard. There's so many resources out there to help you figure out. It's just how to keep yourself kind of interesting. Yeah. That seems to be the hardest. How to keep people coming back.
Yeah, that's definitely just kind of finding your, a kitsch, something that just, like you said, just draws them back in. I think literally for me, the hardest part is the settings. Just getting all of the settings in, OBS correct. Plus the, right, because then you talked about, the overlay and changing that up, but, just putting that thing in there, and then, when I got the green screen and start trying to mess with the filters in OBS to get that working, I still haven't perfected that. I can't figure out how the hell they do it. I think it has to do with my lighting, but I'm not sure. And I don't really want to go out and fix all the lighting yet, so I haven't tried it.
Right.
So yeah,
it's you mess with like one little setting and it screws everything up and you're like, what did I do? What did I do? Why is the sound off?
Right.
Why does the picture look weird?
Yeah,
like,
and there's so many settings, and then there's like the connection to Beam's API and making sure it's like getting in there, and then like, you know, how at like it's the bit rate, like that thing was the most confusing thing to figure out. I spent hours searching the internet about recommended bit rates, and everybody's like, I don't know, and there's no like solid answers. Like everybody's like, oh, I don't know, I stream at this, and other people are like, that's terrible, I stream at this, and you're like, but what's the correct answer?
But what is the formula into which I plug in the numbers and it gives me the magic number?
So I think I tried quite a few with varying success before I finally settled on one that I'm like, I think this is working okay. And then you'll still get people that'll pop in and say like, oh, the stream froze or nothing's working. And then you're like, oh God, did I touch something? And you just like want to look and poke all the things. And then sometimes it's like, no, it's just that one guy's internet.
Yeah, and then other people are like, it's fine for me. Oh, but it's not fine. Well, who is right here?
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Is it just right for you, or is it just not working for you? Like, I need several people to answer me.
I hate when it's like, you know, 2 or 3 and they all give different answers, and you're like, I don't know what that means.
It seems okay to me.
Right, like I'm watching myself stream and it looks good.
Don't know what to tell you people. Yeah, the settings can be hard. And then it changes from game to game. Like when you're constantly having to change, like to fit the game on the screen, to fit your stuff around it, and then you go to play a different game and it's all different. And you have to that's the thing is, when you're streaming, you have to still give yourself plenty of time to like sit down and try it out. I always recommend putting the game up and trying it out.
Yeah.
Because I've done it before where I didn't. I'm like, oh, you can't see anything. Okay, well, I'm already streaming, so just you guys can watch me try to fix this.
Well, I mean, even with the podcast, and we're just recording, and that's all I'm doing is just recording the audio. I don't have any video recording through OBS, but even before we start every single podcast, we pop up the thing, we talk for a few minutes, we make sure everybody's sound levels are right, and then we go back, and then we start recording. And so it's this, there's even like this extra layer of check just doing stuff like the podcast to make sure that, okay, are all the levels right? Am I hearing everything okay? And it's the same way with new games. Like when I stream games, it's like, okay, are all the sound levels sitting okay? Is the game too loud? Am I too loud? Like, is the music too loud? Like, there's always something. And so you're always like making tiny tweaks every single time you stream. Yeah.
And it's nerve-wracking.
It is very nerve-wracking.
I'm constantly looking at my levels. I'm even doing it right now. It must be a bad habit, but because I'm the backup recording for the podcast, I'm even watching my levels as I talk. Like, is it working? Can you hear me?
Every time we come on, right, usually someone's mic is just a little different. And so then I'm not only messing with the OBS settings, but then I'm messing with the settings inside Discord to make sure, like, okay, if Alice comes in and, like, she's too loud, then I have to turn her down. And then, like, if you're too quiet, then I have to turn you up. And then there's, like, okay, make sure I'm not overpowering everybody's voice with my voice because mine's being recorded separately from everyone else's. And so it's, like, it's all these like constant like micro adjustments every time that we're doing something, and it's the same way when I stream, and it gets worse honestly when I have multiple people sitting in Discord with me, because then it's like, especially when they just pop in, you're like having to adjust on the fly and like go over there and just like, you're too loud, I'm gonna put you down.
Like, oh my goodness, you're way too loud, you're screaming.
That's legitimately been the hardest part for me, is just finding like a good. And you have to look everywhere. You're like, okay, I have my audio settings, but then there's these video settings, and then I have, the streaming settings, and then I have the recording settings, and that's been the most complicated piece getting started, period. And every time they come out with an update, there's like tweaks, and then every time like we play different games, there's tweaks, and so that's.
Well, and then you get into the whole layer of bots then too.
Oh my god!
Because anytime they roll out an update, the people who make the bots have to roll out an update, and sometimes they don't right away, and then your bot breaks and you're like, why is my bot not working? Where is my bot? Why is it not in the chat?
Yeah, I think somebody just needs like a solid, like, this is how you do the thing, like just one like gigantic overview tutorial that just walks through like, these are my personal settings, your personal settings may differ slightly based on your internet, try doing this higher or lower to make it better quality or less better or whatever. I think like maybe that's what we should do one day, is just record a YouTube video about how we set up for streams. and different games and recording like the podcasts and things like that, just to walk people through like, this is a good tutorial on how just to randomly do stuff, and we have no idea if we're correct or not, but it works.
But it works. Well, and you can show people how to stream from the higher end of internet, and I can show the low end.
Yeah, and I've, I remember I started out when I had kind of not bad internet, but not as good as I have now, and I modified my settings when I upped my internet, because then I could stream it at like a better quality.
Yeah. When I have people say a lot, like, my streaming is not the highest quality, I know that, like,
yeah, it looks fine
the
though.
greatest, but it's watchable. It doesn't get too bad, and I have a lot of people say like, "Oh, I can't stream. My internet is so bad." And then they'll tell me what their upload is. I was like, mine is like half yours. So
Right.
if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you can do it. It just takes a little bit more tweaking, but it can happen. I promise you.
I think too, just kind of, dealing with all those layers like you talked about can be really stressful too. Like some people have intro music, and then they'll have like an intro graphic, and then you have like your overlay, and then you have your video, and you can have text on there. And then you'll have the game somewhere, either, you're in a tiny box or it's in a smaller box somewhere or something like that, depending on like what you're trying to focus on. And then there's like if you do like, what is it, StreamJar, like the tipping service, or any of those other things that like feed audio into your stream, then you have to like get that set up and have a spot for that kind of stuff. And so that just all of those layers of things that you have to deal with can be like really overwhelming.
It is, yeah. And I use Streamlabs now.
Oh yeah.
I like how it's just a little bit. It's the same as StreamJar. I just like it a little bit more. Just because StreamJar was not working for me anymore. Don't know why, so I gave up. But that one, yeah, you can have all the little things where you have like if you have a goal for like raising money, and then every time you get a follower, it can pop up, which you can add a graphic and a sound, and you can change the way it like pops up and how long it pops up and like how it like fades away or it zooms away. It's so many choices. You could sit there for hours.
Yeah, I think literally that your best bet is just, when you start, just start out with like literally the bare minimum. If you want to do the microphone on your laptop, like do it. That's how I start recording my YouTube videos. You don't have to buy like, that was kind of the thing I learned going through this process, is you don't have to go out and buy, top of the line equipment like all the best YouTubers are doing. Like they all grew their level of professionalism from, a more basic setup. And so just like I tried to do like a headset, like a legit gaming headset. I hated it. It was annoying. It was hurting my ears after many hours. So I just ended up doing the little like earbuds and then a blue snowball. And that's all I use to kind of record my stuff and to stream. And it works really well for me. And the mic is like a decent quality. So,
yeah, we have the same microphone too.
Yeah. So
my headphones I use are from a phone. They're like a phone headset.
Nice.
For a cell phone. But hey, they work. I can hear. They don't hurt my ears.
Yeah, that was kind of the most important thing, is just really the comfort level when you're streaming, especially when you start going for hours, because it's exhausting enough trying to be on. Like you have to, your personality has to really come out. You kind of have to be at like a higher level. You're constantly talking. You have to, constantly interact with people or the game or whatever else. And so, yeah, just your comfort level matters more than your gear.
It does. And, it's you work with what you got.
Yeah.
It's really your personality and everything that comes through. It's not so much people are like, ooh, look at that headset you're wearing, or ooh, look at that Razer chair you're sitting in. It's like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, if you want that stuff, go for it, but
as cool as it is, like I have a really cool mouse that I love from SteelSeries, and it like glows and does all this neat stuff. That's literally like one of the most expensive accessories that I have, because everything else is still fairly basic. Like I love my tiny little earbuds that were literally like $15 at Best Buy, and then I have like the HP keyboard that you gave me like back, because I could not find a keyboard I liked. I hate clacky keyboards because they make so much noise when I record, so I hated like any of the keys, like the big like giant keyboards. And so like Meru had this like great flat, like it's kind of like an Apple Computers keyboard where it's just super flat, that came with one of their PCs that they weren't using, and I was like, can I just use that for a while? And she totally just gave me the keyboard, and now it's like my favorite thing. So much
It's a
so
nice
that
one.
when she asked for it back, because I loved this particular one and was so nervous about buying the upgraded version of it, I gave her the new one when she asked for it back because I'm like, I know this one and I loves it.
I was like, hey, that bag. Shadow wants to play some games because he uses it to play because it's wireless. So he uses it to play on the TV. She was like, I could just buy a new one. I'm like, okay.
Well, and they didn't have
Sure.
your model anymore, so I was
That's
like,
true. They didn't sell it anymore.
I know this one. It's my precious.
It's a good one. I mean, even the newer one is not super different. I guess it's a little bit bigger. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there
But,
wasn't
I mean,
much. I was terrified it was going to be like just a little bit more clacky, and I'm like, no, it's perfect. Leave it alone.
It is a little more clacky because it's bigger, but like we don't care about that because we don't use it for
Right.
recording or streaming. It's just an extra one. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good one.
That's how much I loved this one. And
She's
it's
like,
so basic too.
I'm on Best Buy. I'll just buy you the new. I was like, okay.
Well,
I'm not gonna argue with you.
It was like what, like $30-35, I think. Like it was a super cheap keyboard, and yours came with your computer, so it was probably less than that when it came with the computer. But like it's just kind of, I don't know. Your setup doesn't have to be extreme. Like we do fairly professional level recording without all the super fancy gear. My chair's like really basic chair too. Like there's nothing super cool about my chair.
Mine, I can sit in it.
Yeah,
it's comfortable. I have a pillow on it. It's nice. I put on it.
I use the same camera. Like my camera could be better for video, but honestly, I use the same camera that we use at work. Like we bought the same kind of like $60 little web cameras at work. So it's whatever. It gets by. It does its job. And I'm pretty tiny in the corner in most of my games anyway, so it's not like it has to be like this crazy, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's like that. It's a Logitech.
Yep.
It's like the C something. I think it was like $60.
Yeah. Yeah, those
but
are
it works.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's kind of and then you just upgrade as you go. So if you want like a better, the microphone is probably the most important thing I think that you should upgrade, especially if you're doing streaming, just to get a good sound quality, just to try and limit background noise. I'm pretty sure I have. You can maybe hear some of the background noise that's going on right now, but my microphone's
bit, but not really.
Fairly good, and it has a directional thing where it's mostly just picking up my voice. Every now and then when it gets really loud from the TV or my daughter, you can kind of hear a little bit more than that. But for the most part, it's pretty good about just picking up exactly what is in front of me. And then I can get a broader sense if I change the settings on the back. It'll pick up more of the surround sound. Like when we played board games that one night with Tavi, that's when I used the more like, pick up everything in the room kind of
pick
kind
up
of
all the screaming.
Yeah, so I mean that's honestly my recommendation for the thing to upgrade first. But beyond that, like everything else can stay pretty basic.
Yeah. Well, and I've slowly upgraded. Like I started off with just what I had. I had no fun graphics. I had nothing. And slowly I've commissioned like a starting soon screen and a BRB screen and like a goodbye screen, which are nice to have. You don't need them.
No.
But, I mean, you don't have to get super fancy ones either. You can just maybe draw something up. I've seen people just simply draw something up in like paint.
Yeah.
It says like BRB or whatever.
Dude, like a stick figure would legit be awesome. Just draw like on a like whiteboard looking thing, like big letters like BRB, and just have a little stick figure like running off the frame or something like that. Like you could get super basic with those, and everybody else still think it's cool.
I've seen those and I'm like, that's creative. It's like you appreciate that they are trying to do what they can do with what they have. It's like, do it. So I mean, I've slowly upgraded, and it's taken me, I've been streaming for like a year-ish. Not consistently. I take long breaks, but...
Yeah, I can make most of my own graphics just because I've worked with Photoshop for years and I have it, But yeah, most people who don't have the skill set, like you just commission the artwork, or, if you have a friend that can draw, then it's cool to get them to do some of it. Just, throw them a shout out, retweet them on Twitter, that kind of thing. Just kind of help promote them. But yeah, just going with like, I don't know, a colored background and some text on top of it is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, it's like you just do what you gotta do. I think a lot of people worry about like, well, I can't be as good as that person. They have 20,000 followers. Look how fancy they are. It's like, well, they started with one.
Right.
They started with one with their basic setup, and they've just worked.
Well, we talked about how hard it is, like we were just talking about before we started, like one of the hardest parts of streaming is when you get started, you have nobody to stream to most of the time. Like, it's just you, and then somebody will pop in and be like, do I really want to stay? Is this person interesting enough? So I think talk about what that experience is like for you, just kind of streaming to literally nobody for the longest time.
I still do that now sometimes. I still will stream and nobody's there, but I think it gets discouraging because I've gotten people sometimes that'll come into the stream and they'll be like, hey, I just started. Can you give me any tips? Like, I really want to get to like 500 followers, like as fast as I can. I'm like, how long have you been streaming? They're like, a week. I'm like, okay. Well, I mean, unless you're, I don't know. I mean, some people could probably grow that fast if you're super entertaining, but it might take you a little longer.
Yeah.
In like a month or a week.
Yeah, it's definitely not an instant. Like, you kind of, it's like it's like work. It is. It's really hard work. You got to really grind it out at the beginning, before you start seeing kind of some major returns on it.
Yeah, and so at the beginning it can be really hard. And the thing I always want to tell people, because I'll go in sometimes, like, not that I'm an expert at streaming or anything, but I'll go in and sometimes I'll just try to find new people, like, to raid, or just find new people to watch, to, like, connect with. And a lot of times you get people that are streaming and they're not talking at all.
Right.
And it makes it feel really awkward when you go in there and they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really weird, and you don't know how to, like, jump. You want to start talking. Like, I'll go in and be like, oh, maybe I'll start talking to them, but it's like they're not saying anything. And then even sometimes when you say hi or whatever, they're still not saying anything. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're gonna stream, the most important thing is really just pay attention to your chat.
Yes.
If you're not, like, greeting people, especially when you're small and you're only getting, like, 5 or 10 people kind of coming through, or not even that at times, every single person that comes through is a new interaction for you, and you need to, like, it's like meeting somebody for the first time. You really do need to kind of put on your best face and like, get energetic and really, like, be enthusiastic about them coming in and be like, hey, thanks so much for stopping by. Like, what are you up to right now? And, just keep playing your game, and then they'll start asking you questions about what you're doing and be like, oh, I'm totally trying to chop this guy's head off, like.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's your chance at making a first impression.
Yeah, and you need everyone that you can get to like you at that stage. So
yeah, and it's like, you don't have to be fake, and you don't have to, like, super sugar. You don't have to go into detail, but a simple hi, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. What are you up to?
Yeah.
And if and that encourages them to start talking, and then other people in your chat will probably start talking. And if you have, like, mods in your chat, which we can talk about too, they'll usually start talking to them, and just kind of gets the ball rolling. It makes them feel welcome. If you say nothing to them, I don't think people feel welcome.
Right.
At least I don't. If I go in and say hi or something, they say nothing, I'm like, well, I don't really feel very welcome.
I mean, the whole point,
go somewhere else.
For the most part, people tend to watch streamers to interact with them and to interact while they're gaming. So I feel like if you're not saying hi back to whoever pops in, or, talking with them, or just, trying to get a conversation started, then there's no point for them to really be there, because they could just go to YouTube and watch somebody that just literally just played through the game, rather than watching you kind of fumble through it on stream. Like, they could watch a really professional video that was, cut and recorded and things like that. So
yeah, it's like they're coming to you for the interaction.
Yeah.
And some people might come in and lurk. Some people might not ever say anything, which is fine.
Lurkers.
You should always let people lurk, is my thing too. Like, don't call people out.
Yeah.
If you notice that people came into your chat, don't call them out. Just kind of let them chill, see what they're doing, because that can scare people away too. Because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk. I just wanted to see what you were doing. I don't want to be called out.
Yeah, if they type something in chat, then yeah, definitely greet them. If you already have quite a few people in there, and you see somebody's popped in but they're not saying anything, just kind of let them go, because yeah, they may just want to kind of pop in and watch the interaction but not participate in it. Yeah. So there
are times, where I'll pop into chats of, like, people I know that are streaming, but I'm doing something else, so I don't really want to talk right then. I'm like, kind of busy.
Yep.
I just want to listen to your voice while I'm doing this thing that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So. like putting a TV show on in the background.
Yes. I just want you to be my background noise.
You're my background TV show. It's fine.
While I'm working.
So you talked about moderators. That's a really, really good tool to kind of have in your streaming bag when you get into it.
Yes.
Moderators can really make or break your stream for you, in the craziest ways possible. Like, you were always the one that kind of got people hyped, especially when the game got too complicated for me to like concentrate. It was this like, okay, I'm doing this really hard part and I'm gonna die if I don't concentrate, and so I couldn't greet people and I couldn't interact, but like Meru was always there to kind of pump up the crowd basically and keep the conversation going when I wasn't able to. And then I'd jump back in, or she'd kind of poke at me and say like, oh, Kirei, like so-and-so popped in the chat, or, you know, she'd make a big deal about it so that it would be something like, hey, pay attention to this. And it was just these little cues to get my attention centered back on chat when I needed to.
Well, that's the thing, is a good moderator will... I suggest having your moderators be people that know you pretty well.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, real life people that know you, that also game with you, or just people you know online that understand you a little bit, that will know when, you know, you need to focus and they need to take the reins and be like, say hi to everybody that comes in. And then when it kind of, you can tell when the game lulls down and their expression kind of changes and they're a little more talkative, like, okay, they can focus now and be like, hey, did you notice, like, hey, you got 2 new follows during that, or hey, you know, somebody donated, or...
Yeah, she was always super quick to like bring things like that to my attention if I missed them. So if I missed a donation or I missed a follow, then it was like, hey, like, you know, pay attention to this thing. And she'd say it like really like nonchalantly, like, woohoo, you got 2 more followers. Like, it was just her making a big deal about it, which one gets them hyped, and then 2, like, I'm seeing that I missed it. And so it's like, oh, okay. And then I make a big deal about it too, which makes them feel better because then I'm recognizing the effort they're putting into, you know, becoming part of my community.
That's the thing, is people love to be, you know, they love to be recognized. That's why they do things like follow or donate or host, you know?
Yeah. And then
they're not doing it because they don't want you to notice.
And then the flip side of that is, right, a good moderator knows when they need to kind of like simmer the thing down. So if the chat's going too crazy, or somebody's cussing too much and that's not what you want in there, or they're, you know, spoiling like a part of the game that's coming up, or they're really irritating chat and getting kind of them pissed off and, you know, getting people grumpy, a good moderator knows when to kind of like lay the banhammer down, or to kind of poke them and say, hey, you need to kind of chill out, or, you know, we're going to rectify the situation pretty quickly. And they do it in a very passive way that doesn't, 1, get the streamer more pissed off, and 2, doesn't kind of disrupt the fun that chat is having at the time.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, of noticing, like, sometimes you just need to quietly take care of things. Don't bring attention to it. You don't, a lot of things that people will do that I don't like done in my chat is I don't ever want the trolls to be responded to. We do not respond to the trolls.
Yeah, I hate talking to trolls. Like, don't feed the trolls. Terrible idea. It just gets them more riled up. That's exactly what they want.
Yeah. So it's like in my chat, my main moderator is JT. I'm going to call him out because I know he listens, JT. But he's really good at just kind of quietly like, nope.
Yeah, and they'll recognize when you're getting kind of irritated with somebody if they're asking too many questions or whatever. The moderator's good at redirecting that person away from asking so many questions, or like helping answer some of those. Or, you know, just getting them kind of back on track with the rest of chat. And then if not, like, if you see that the streamer's kind of done and you know them well enough, you're going to know that, like, okay, it's time to kick this person out of chat altogether. Like, they're really upsetting the streamer, they're really bothering chat. So a good moderator kind of knows when the streamer needs you to just kind of take care of that problem quietly, like you said. Like, don't make a big deal about it, just kick them out. Boom, done.
Well, and sometimes people are asking fully legitimate questions that are not bad. It's just they have so many, and you're still also you're trying to play a game.
And talk to the rest of chat, too.
And talk to everybody, so...
Yeah.
It's good when you have those people that they'll answer the questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes the moderators will whisper answers, or be like, hey, you know, maybe after they're done streaming, you got some questions. Happy to answer them. You can always message them.
Yeah.
Maybe just not right now with your 4,000 questions about how to start streaming.
Yeah, there's people that come in, like, super excited about the game or super excited about streaming, and it's really great that they're, like, thrilled to interact with you, but they're not all the time the only person in your chat or the only thing that you need to pay attention to. Sometimes you're co-streaming, sometimes you're playing like a really difficult game. Sometimes you're talking to the rest of chat, and sometimes you just kind of need somebody to kind of step in and like help kind of moderate that situation. Like, okay, you know, she's playing such and such and she's doing this right now, you know, like they just kind of quietly kind of, you know, answer some of that, and then I can see like, okay, that's been taken care of. I don't have to keep returning to that same person. I can go interact with, you know, so-and-so who's like saying, oh my God, have you beat this one part yet? And be like, no, I'm not quite there, but I know it's coming up or whatever. So you can kind of, you know, spread your attention around to other people.
Yeah. And it's just, and you know, don't also, I say, get too complacent with thinking that your moderators will take care of everything. Because, you know, they're only human too.
Yeah.
They can only pay attention so much and do so much, especially if you have a lot of people talking.
Yeah, it's good to have cues for them. Like when you need something taken care of, you know, just if it's a, you know, your voice changes tone or like it's a certain word that you use that they know that like you've hit your limit with something, or, you know, like, or like, hey, you know, let's run a, you know, let's run a raffle, or let's, you know, do a quiz real fast or something.
Let's do a poll and see what we should do.
Yeah. And then part of it's,
break from it.
Part of it's the interaction with you and the moderator. I mean, people used to come just to watch me interact with you while you were moderating my stream. So just you poking me and like getting, I mean, your whole thing was just getting chat riled up against me. It was constantly like me with a battle against my chat while I was playing the game. So
and I was not helping.
Tomb Raider was probably the worst, where I'd be sitting there like fighting against a pack of wolves, and she's like in chat with like this hashtag Team Wolf thing and getting everybody riled up against me. Her and Pudsey, oh my God. Yeah, with the Team Wolf.
There was a lot of the, how many deaths do you think it'll take to get through this part?
Oh, yeah, I had a death counter thanks to you. Which used to, like, I mean, that's part of the fun, right? It's like a comedy show at that point. It's like, oh, so how bad can Meru screw with Kirei while she's gaming? Like...
Yeah, you know, that's the thing too. It's like if people are having fun, they're not only watching the game, if they're having fun interacting with you and chat, it's just fun. You can make it a really fun experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it makes it, like, if you're interacting with somebody else who's also not chatting with you, then it kind of invites people in to kind of, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, you know, gang up with her against Kirei while she's playing a game or something like that. You know, it just kind of invites people in. So it's just creating a fun atmosphere, really.
It creates like a comfort zone that people are like, oh, I can be a little like, you know, not trolly, but oh, I can get a little sassy. Okay, that's kind of fun. You know, I can get a little jokey with her. She can take it, you know. Yeah,
just kind of, your moderator kind of helps set the tone that you are agreeing to when you're streaming. So yeah, some people don't like to be messed with at all, and your moderator should kind of, you know, model that kind of behavior that you would expect from your chat. So if you don't want any of that kind of stuff, you don't want any cussing, you don't want any sass, then like your moderator should be somebody that's very similar to your personality that also is not participating in those kinds of behaviors. Or if you want someone a bit edgier, then your moderator should also be a little bit edgier. So they should be a little bit more on your level, so that way there's kind of this this is the ideal person I want in my chat.
Yes. They're kind of like the mirror image of the people you want.
Yeah.
That's why I recommend, you know, don't just mod anybody that comes as like, can I be a mod? Like, sure. Like, don't. That'll get hairy real quick because you're giving these people a lot of power, especially if you have bots. As soon as they're a moderator, they can control things. And if they start to learn how to control things, they could really break everything. Yeah, it could be really bad.
I mean, if they're banning people and they're kicking people out and things like that can, you know, and you don't necessarily like say somebody, you know, said something a little off color, but you weren't really ready to ban them. You just kind of wanted to say, hey, I don't really like that in my chat or something like that. But if they're kicking people and you're not ready for that kind of level of authority, right? Then maybe, you know, you want to have a discussion with your moderator and be like, you need to chill it out a little bit. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that's why you don't moderate everybody.
You don't. And like with me, I like to keep my streams fairly PG. Not a lot of swearing in chat. But people are going to slip up sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes people will be generally being really nice and they'll just type out a sentence and be like, oh, it's effing cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, maybe, you know, tone it down. But my moderators know that that's not necessarily bannable. They weren't saying it in a way that was offensive or directed at anybody. They're just talking.
Yeah.
And there are times where they'll be like, hey, watch the language. You're like, oh, sorry, you know, didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so you
So
got to make sure that like your moderators are fully aware of kind of the behavior you're expecting when you're giving them power to ban people from your chat, because that's, you know, that could potentially be a really bad interaction, and other people watching that happen could have a negative impact on their experience in your stream too.
They could be like, wow, they're kind of jerky in there.
Yeah,
like they're just banning people for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm not going back in there.
Yeah, they really do. They kind of help represent your brand. So you got to think very carefully about the type of people you want to give that kind of power to.
Yes. Really think about that.
So I guess one of the last kind of core pieces to this is social media. So when you're talking about your brand, you definitely want to have somewhere, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or wherever where you want to kind of post some of these, you know, your messages or your stuff that you've been doing. Like, you always want to have somewhere that you can kind of get the word out about what you're doing next, or like if you're, you know, starting a stream. So social media can kind of be really core to what you do.
Yes.
And you have a lot of experience kind of getting social media accounts up and going and really like growing them.
I feel like I should do that for a living, but I don't.
Probably should.
I probably should. But it's important. You need to have somewhere that you're telling people that you're streaming. Otherwise, no one's gonna know. If you're thinking that people will just go on Mixer and somehow find you, goodness no, because there are so many people streaming all the time.
Well, and then we go to an even bigger one like Twitch, right?
Oh, Twitch, yeah. So if you're doing Twitch or YouTube or any of them,
it's near impossible to start a following on some of those places. And so, you know, Twitter's much easier because, you know, you start interacting with people and creating conversations, and then you're getting retweeted and people are starting to interact with you, and other people see that and they start following you. There's so many ways to kind of grow organically on Twitter. But I feel like on Beam or Mixer or Twitch or, you know, any of the other streaming services, that's so much more difficult to just kind of grow organically. You really have to push it.
You just have to have somewhere else that you're interacting with people, and I would suggest having as many as you can manage, to be honest. Like, if you can have Twitter and even Instagram. I advertise when I'm streaming on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Twitter and usually Facebook, and then I also am a part of several Discord communities that have places where you can go in and be like, hey, I'm streaming. You can just kind of post a thing.
Yeah.
So I have like, I think 6 right now that every time I start streaming.
Holy crap.
Go through and I post in every single one. I'm like, hey, I'm streaming, guys. And that's where I've built a lot of like my regulars.
Yeah.
It's come from those communities. Those are the people that will usually, I have a few people that will watch me every single stream. Not a lot, but like a few regulars that will be there every single time. They know my schedule.
Yeah.
They see when I post.
And that's kind of important too. Like, I don't stream on a schedule, and since I've stopped streaming on a schedule, growing my followers is so much more difficult. But right now I'm not really focused on growing. It's really just kind of for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And I like to relax and interact. And when I want to get like a little social but not have to like get dressed and go out, I just stream for a bit. But really, like, streaming on a schedule, if you're looking to grow, that's the most important thing, is consistency. So somebody seeing that, like, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I'm logging in at this time, like, then they'll know when to find you and they'll start coming back. If they don't know when you're going to go live, it's really hard for them to plan for it.
Well, if you just pop up and you're like, okay, in 10 minutes I'm going to start streaming. And it's right now, it's like 9 o'clock on a Friday. People are like, well, I'm already streaming myself, or I'm out, or I'm already watching somebody else.
Yep. Yeah.
And so it gets hard. And that's hard because, like, when you're in a community, I feel like in our community, we have a lot of streamers, so there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
But, you do what you can. And, if you have a consistent schedule, the people who like you will, even if they're watching a couple people stream, maybe you're one of them, watching 2 people who are streaming at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard to have a schedule. I totally, because a lot of people, oh gosh, schedules.
Oh, I can feel you hanging your head in shame right now.
Oh, I did. I had my hand on my eyes and everything.
I can feel it through the microphone.
I tried to do a more intensive schedule this week, and I ended up getting sick on Wednesday. I was so sick Wednesday night because I was like, I'm gonna do a new schedule. I'm gonna stream Monday through Friday, and Tuesday through Thursday is gonna be double stream days, and I made it to Wednesday, and I was so sick because it can be really hard because it's like you said, you have to be on. You have to be at full energy.
Yeah, that's hard.
For 3 hours, and it's difficult. Like, you have to be awake and alive, and I apparently cannot do that for more than 6 hours a day.
You know, and you guys don't have to stream for 3 hours like she does. That's kind of just that's her limit she set for herself. You could stream for an hour. You could stream for 30 minutes. You could stream for 24 hours if you really wanted to. I don't recommend it because it's really hard and it hurts.
No, I don't recommend it.
I was dying.
12 to 24 hour streams that people do, I'm like, I mean, if you want to, but I don't highly recommend. And if you do them very sporadically, not every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, just be kind of aware that, like, you know, it is grueling to do for long periods of time. Sitting for long periods of time is not super healthy, so definitely take breaks in between. You know, like, hey, I'm taking a 5-10 minute break. If you're going to do an extended stream, get up, stretch, walk around, take a bathroom break, get some water, whatever. Definitely have something to drink next to you because your voice will go fast. Mine
is like, if I don't have water, it's raw.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do 3 hours is what I do because right now am trying to grow. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's my goal, is to try and grow a little bit. Because I know I'm going to get to a point here where I have a lot of things going on that I'm going to get to a point where I can't stream as much. So I'm trying to grow while I have the time.
Yeah.
So I can kind of keep that going. And then once I have to start limiting my schedule more, I'll still have maybe a bigger following to get more people. But 3 hours is just what works for me. It's just, I get up every hour and take a break. It's a thing in my streams where I encourage my chat to get up every hour and take a break.
Yeah.
I tell them to get up and get water and touch their legs. Like, you need to get up. I'm getting up. You get up. I don't care if you stand at your computer. Move your body. But, you know, and I started out when I started streaming, I was so nervous to do it. I think I streamed for like an hour at a time. So.
Yeah, I think I was doing probably at least 2 hours. My max was like 3 to 4. I've done extended streams before and they suck. Oh my god. Oh, they suck. I mean, you're like, your voice is dead, you're exhausted, you don't want to people. I mean, I think you have to be like a serious extrovert to want to like people after like a really long stream.
Oh yeah.
And I am not an extrovert. I sit like right on the border of an extrovert and an introvert, and so I can do the streaming and be super on, but like it's draining. And so when I'm all done, I'm like, I want to go hide under a blanket and watch Netflix.
Yes. You can ask my husband after every stream I do. I usually quit right before he gets home, and then we eat dinner, and I lay on the couch and I pass out for like an hour.
Yeah, it's hard work. Like, people don't realize that, like, because you have to talk through everything. And now it's to the point where, like, when I play games by myself, I'm still talking to the game.
Oh, I do that too. I'm like, so when I'm building on Minecraft, because I'll build on Minecraft, that's like my vegging out thing.
Uh-huh.
That I love to do, just no streaming, just building. And I'll be like, and now I'm going to put this here. Oh, wait, I got to go back over. Well, who am I talking to?
I think I was playing games at my boyfriend's house one night, and he's like playing Diablo, and I'm sitting here like playing like some scary game. And I started out and I was like, oh, nope, I guess we're not doing that. And then it was like, where I walk around a little bit, and I was like, man, that was dumb. Like, how the heck did that happen? And like, why did you do that? That's not what I asked you to do. And I'm literally like yelling at my game every few minutes. And I could hear him from the room be like, are you talking to yourself? And I was like, I'm just going to shut up now. Like, I just like quietly stopped talking. I was like, no, like in my brain, like, no, I'm not talking to myself. I'm apparently talking to nobody.
Talking to you? Why aren't you listening to me?
Right. Right. I'm talking to you. You never listen to me. I wish I could have done it, but I mean, I was, you know, yelling at things about getting murdered or something like that, you know. I don't know. That would probably freak him out a little bit.
He's like, all right, lady. Well, anyway, you can go home now.
Yeah, that's kind of where it got to.
You know what? Maybe you should just go home. Because this is getting weird. But...
Right. So I don't know, do you have any like last minute tips that you think would be kind of like useful for our listeners to kind of know if they want to get into this?
You know, it's like if you want to do it, there's a motorcycle going by my house.
I can totally hear it. We're winning with all the extra noise tonight.
You're always going to get extra noises when you listen to me.
This is why the girls shouldn't leave us alone, really.
No.
Like, we're so much more professional when it's all four of us than when it's just me and you.
Well, because we have more time for you and I to talk. So we
it's a terrible idea.
I think I would say, you know, if you really want to do it, if you want to stream think about like what your goal is with it. If you want to be the super, super famous, gonna make millions of dollars, be the next, PewDiePie, whoever, not that he streams. I guess he kind of, I don't know. But you know what I mean? If you want to be like the next big thing, it's going to take a lot of work. I'm not saying that's a bad goal to have, but give yourself realistic mini goals.
No, it's a job. I mean,
it's it's a job.
Yeah, and it just depends on how much time you can dedicate to it. Like if you can only dedicate part-time or weekends, then you're going to grow slower, and that just has to be your reality. You can do it, and I've done it. I work a full-time job. I'm a single mom, and I was when I was doing it and I was in it, I was growing my community pretty fast, but I didn't do a lot of other stuff, right? I didn't get to go camping. I didn't get to play video games by myself. Like there was I would never load up a video game if I wasn't like recording or streaming it.
You're like, I don't have time to just casually play.
I can't just casually play. I have to record something because I have, all this other stuff I have to do tomorrow or whatever. So
you just have to have realistic goals. And like mine, I have not grown a lot, I will say. I think I sit at 425 right now, which to me is a huge thing. I just hit 400. To me, that was a huge deal because that was my mini goal, right?
Right.
I was like, 400, that's my goal. And then I hit it and I was like, yes, I did my thing. And then I got over it. I was like, I did even better. Look how good I'm doing.
I think that's, with everything in your life, just setting small achievable goals kind of helps you reach a major goal. So you can have a major goal of like, one day I want to be sitting at, 15,000, Twitter followers or, Beam followers or Twitch users or whatever. But I mean, you want to set mini ones in between, like, oh, I just want to get to like 25, and then I just want to get to 50, and I just want to hit 100, and then I just want to hit 200, and you just keep like T-Love is a perfect example of this for me. Like he started out on Beam as he was the biggest streamer on Beam before they became Mixer, and he was constantly just setting these mini goals, and it was always a little bit bigger than the last time, but it was always achievable. And then he'd push for it, and he was streaming every day on a schedule. Which you don't have to do. You don't have to stream every day. I don't.
No.
Never did. Never will. But I was still growing really well. So as long as you have like a dedicated schedule and you set small achievable goals so you can keep yourself interested in it.
Right.
Yeah, totally doable.
Yeah. Because burnout is real.
Oh my God, burnout.
And when you hit burnout, it's bad.
It's really bad.
It's people are like, no, I'll be fine. I can do this. But you'll hit that burnout if you push yourself too hard, and it gets bad because then you will learn to hate the thing that you're now forcing yourself to do. And then nobody enjoys it. Your chat's not going to enjoy it. No viewers, nobody's going to enjoy it. You're going to be miserable. I hit burnout before. I think before DCC because I was still trying to stream and do DCC stuff, and I hit burnout so hard that I remember one time I streamed and I was in such a bad mood that even after the fact, my mod was like, you were not happy today. I was like, no, I was not happy.
Yeah, it's definitely not good to push yourself to that point.
Yeah, and then I stopped for a long time. And it's like, if you want to keep growing, just don't let yourself hit burnout.
Yeah.
And you can do that by making sure you take a break. Maybe if you're hitting burnt, maybe lessen your schedule. Maybe drop a day. Give yourself a day to compose, to come up with new ideas, to just play a game and have fun.
Yeah.
Just sit and have some fun, go out with friends, take a bath, do something that'll just let you relax one day a week. And make sure you're having fun. Somebody that I have to do another kind of a shout out, but Chef Rob Blake is a streamer that I have found on Mixer who just actually recently got partnered. That guy has so much fun doing what he's doing. I love this person. I love watching his streams because he's constantly changing it up too. He's like, he'll do a cooking stream or he'll do a woodworking stream or a gaming stream or like a just sit and chat stream. But he's constantly changing it.
Yeah.
So I think he, the
finding something you enjoy is really the most important part. Like I remember watching Lumberjack when he was still tiny on Mixer.
Yeah.
When he first started, and I remember walking into one of his streams and like at one point he throws a dress on and he starts dancing and then like he would pick up these two like these fake axes and he'd start swinging them every time somebody would like follow his channel. And I was like, this is amazing. Like he's just creating this completely wild atmosphere, and he was so excited about everything he was doing, and just finding your like little niche thing that you like to do everybody remembers and kind of latches onto. Like that's kind of a cool thing.
He would sing the "I'm a Lumberjack" song.
I'm a Lumberjack song. Yes.
I love that. He still does that.
Yeah.
I wish I could unfollow and refollow and it would pop up. It doesn't anymore. It doesn't do that anymore because I just want him to sing the song. Like, just sing the song for me, please. So that, just have fun with it. Yeah. And with co-streaming now too, like, bring your friends in, like, just have fun.
Yeah.
I think co-streaming is a good way to, like, meet new people, grow your community. You can bring in followers from both people's, like, if you co-stream with a friend, they have followers that maybe you don't have, and vice versa.
I love co-streaming more than I love streaming by myself. Like, it's so much fun to have somebody to interact with while you're interacting with chat and, dying horrible deaths in video games.
Yes. We in Sheekery will probably be doing those sometime.
Probably. So. All of the deaths.
We just have to find a game. Well, we have a game. We just need to get people to find it. There's a lurker in our Discord right now. And I know she can hear us, so.
So I think I think my one last tip is just find stuff that enables your life to be easier, like TweetDeck or Hootsuite really helps you with setting like tweets or messages to go out to social media and just update people. If this and that is really great. So if you post to one place, it maybe pushes to everything. Yes. Yeah, just, bots that help, like, announce things in your chat for you. I mean, really just use technology, but use it slowly. Don't jump all in at once, because it's really overwhelming to, do all of the things. But slowly adding, like, technology that helps you do less of the setup stuff is just that's my favorite thing. Just technology enabling me to do my stuff better.
Yes. We can put links in the description of the podcast, but things like StreamYard, Streamlabs, ScottyBot, highly recommend ScottyBot.
Yep.
It's pretty easy to learn to use. If I can learn how to use it, anybody can. I'm pretty proficient with bots at these points. Yes. I've gone through so many bots.
You were a community manager for a while.
Yeah, for a while until it went away.
So, if you guys have any tips or tricks, just tweet us at the Sheekery on Twitter, and we'll retweet those really awesome suggestions. And then
if you have questions, you can also tweet those.
Totally tweet questions at us, and we're more than happy to kind of answer some of those. I can, post screenshots of my setup, and she can post screenshots of hers, and they vary pretty widely, and
they do.
I don't know.
If
everybody
we can't
sets
answer
their stuff
them,
up
we will point you to somebody that can.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we know a lot of people in the community that know stuff that we don't know.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that are fairly well versed in different platforms too. So yeah, definitely tweet at us if you have questions, or if you have suggestions for cool little tips and tricks when you're streaming. And then hopefully next week I will have my shit together, and we'll be streaming or recording on Monday like usual, and we'll have the other girls back. So that will be awesome.
Yes. Because we miss them. And we only hate them a little bit.
When they're not here, we go so far over time. We're so far over time right now.
I know. I was like, it'll be shorter. It's just the two
I know,
of
that's
us.
what we thought. No. And then me and you don't shut up when it's just the two of us. So, we don't ever stop. It's just, don't stop,
right now.
Stop.
We keep going. We just keep talking. We're never going to stop talking. Welcome to the 4-hour podcast.
Welcome to the 4-hour podcast with only 2 people.
Oh, there are messages happening.
There are messages. All right, guys. So I'm Kirei.
I'm Meru.
And the other 2 girls are so not here, but they are messaging us in Discord, and they will be here next time. And this has been Sheekery! Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah.
God, it's so much sadder with just the 2 of us.
I know. It's like, woo!
Woo! it's like a whole stadium and just 2 of us. Just, when it used to be a crowd.
We're trying.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.